All right, so we're joined from Oklahoma City over there in the Sooner State. My friend Deprecia Sutter, so glad to have you with us again. We had you last year and it was so good. This is our entrepreneurship class. I've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson High School. We're recording this for our friends at Germantown High School, Ridgeland High School, Madison Central High School, and our YouTube channel. So we are so thankful for you to fit us in your schedule today.
Awesome. It's a pleasure having me here, and thank you for having me on again. That definitely speaks volumes, and I appreciate that the class even enjoyed listening to me because we're going to keep on going and keep on talking.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you have your preview to wealth and your financial
Mm-hmm.
service. You deal with both personal and business financial consulting, which is just so important. And we'll get to all that. But take us through your background, how you got into this. I know you are from Oklahoma, and
Mm-hmm.
you've gotten into this over the years.
So born and raised from Oklahoma City, never thought I'd be in a field like this. And honestly, something that I was really bad at is what I became amazing at. Okay. So went to high school, went to college, I did all that. I have a Bachelor of Science in kinesiology. So I was going to be in the medical field. Then, the pandemic hit, and my opinions on if that's what I wanted to do, what was the right thing for me, to go to be in the medical field is a lengthy time. Like, you have to go to OT school, you have to keep on going and going to be where you want financially as well. And so I end up being a GM at a food hall. I managed about 400 employees. So I definitely, I had some experience in my belt over time, but life happened. My mom's health went up and down, and I just pretty much chose to take a step back and be there with her. And so when the financial world really came my way, I was bad at money. In school, you're told to do what? Count money. And you know how to count money, but you're not really taught how to manage it. And so anything that came my way, I knew how to press the word checkout and swipe, And so over time, me digging for me made me be able to create a business to help thousands of people. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And one thing we said right before we started recording is so many of these young entrepreneurs, and we've had several kids from this class start their own business, even if it was just a part-time thing. And everybody wants to get in the cosmetology industry and the lashes and the hair and the
Yeah.
trucks, all the stuff that think that it looks cool on social media. And there is money to be made there. I'm not knocking those industries, but you saw a need for people not knowing the financial side of things because so many people, not that they're stupid, or they just were never told about these financial obstacles, whether it be on a business level or personal level.
Oh yeah. And then understanding that you got to be someone's solution. Restaurants are solutions. You have to be someone's solutions. So to talk yesterday, I'm gonna tell you something I did yesterday. It was so fun. I went and I painted. I was able to paint a portrait of myself. Granted, guys, I'm not an artist. I can't paint worth crap, but pretty much, you kind of paint by the numbers. And the gentleman that was there, what he did, he used to teach people how to do art. Well, he ended up getting diagnosed with leukemia. And so the thing is let's say those that, want to be lash techs, that want to, do hair or cut hair, whatever. You guys have to understand, will your business still run if you're not present? And so what happened was this gentleman was able to make canvases that people can buy, from the comfort of their home. And me and him was just talking a little bit, and he said now he gets at least 50 orders a day. And he sells those canvases for $100 base price. So that alone, every single day, revenue coming in, and he would never thought to have something that he could throw there that people can really do on their own to create that financial freedom. And that's taken so much time out where he's able to help himself now.
Yeah, and you talk about being a solution. Another need that I've had so many guests from around the world say that there is a huge need for financial literacy for Black business owners and in the Black community, period. So you saw that need and really jumped on it. So even though you are in business and making a profit, you really are doing something that is so needed, that you saw was so needed in your community. So talk about some of the services you offered that really weren't offered by other people.
So pretty much outside of most people, if you look at my social media, I kind of look like the credit lady, but there's so much more than that. It's so much more. So yes, we do help with credit, building your credit, also restoring it, and also that with business as well. But remember, the main thing is I don't want you to come somewhere and leave and 6 months later have to come visit me again, you know? And so with to be someone's solution, what we do is we offer tools to help people budget. You know, I want to teach you how to budget. I want you to be able to organize your finances. I want you to be able to say, I'm going to take a trip in the next 6 months and know how much money to put aside to make that happen where it's not hurting your household. And then, of course, we help people with will, trust, and power of attorney. I've learned that is where the lack of education is outside of everything I talk about. But having a will, trust, and power of attorney, the children there, about what's their age range?
I've got 9th, 10th, and 12th grade in here with me.
12. So with the seniors alone, you got some seniors that are turning 18. Once they turn 18, you have to have a will, trust, power of attorney. Have to. And we look at it like it's money, you know, like a celebrity. If I have this much money, where this is going. But no, like, you got to understand, if you have a child, if you don't have a will, trust, power of attorney in play, the state makes decisions on where the children go. You know, for instance, if this is something that actually happened, I knew someone that got in a car wreck and their children could not get in their car, passed away. Their children could not get in their car once it got towed. Okay. And it's because the towing place needed a death certificate or a power of attorney. So just imagine, like, things like that. It goes beyond just money. So anything in the world of money and credit, it's really a realm of whole. So I'm a lot of people's solution here.
Yeah, and another example of that, and I mean, and again, not to be doom and gloom, but I had a cousin who was a dentist, and he unfortunately was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and passed away in a matter of weeks. But because he had the will and trust set up, everybody in his business got to keep their jobs, and they were bought by a franchise, and all the employees at the business were able to continue working.
Right. You're protecting you, but you're also protecting the ones that fall behind you. So it's bigger than what we think. And I mean, it's just lack of education. We're learning every single day. And just how you spoke about, like, the Black community, to be honest, like, I hate to say this, but the world's very cliquey. You know, the world is very cliquey. And if someone in your group is not learning how to do anything, or anyone around you that you're associating with, regardless, you're not going to learn that one thing that you wanted to know about unless you picked up a book, unless you searched it, unless you took out the time to be there. So, you know, you always want to elevate one another to educate themselves and keep growing, because I say this all the time, you go fast alone, but you go further together. So if you're really trying to get far as a whole, we can all grow. There's abundance. There is enough for us all at the top.
Absolutely. Now, you just said you got a degree in kinesiology. You went to University of Central Oklahoma. So how did you get trained to work in the financial industry? Because we hear a lot of entrepreneurs say, before you get into an industry, you need to learn the industry. Because that's a mistake other people make. They open a restaurant because they like to eat. They don't know anything about it, and they're belly up in less than a year. So how did you learn this business? Because that's a question I have, because you just said yourself, your degree was not in this.
At all. I was a customer. That's it. I was a customer. I needed it for me, but granted, I was a customer that still partnered as, like, they had, like, pretty much, I'm partnering with attorneys to give identity protection to my clients. I'm partnering with Allstate. To be honest, everything that I do is through partnerships. One thing about this world, like, the people that are going to be making the most incomes have affiliate marketing or something where people can click a link and they can make extra dollars from. So to me, it was just like, okay, I can refer somebody to this person to make a little money, you know, and it was something so small. And so I was just a customer. I was someone that, you know, started to learn. To be honest, I never cared about the budgeting tools until life happened. To be honest, I feel like when life happens, you think, and you're like, okay, now I need to learn how to budget. But I was working on my credit, you know. As I did that, then looking at budgeting, looking at how can I really create a plan for my life. And so once I started doing that, everybody starts asking questions. How are you doing this? How can you help me? And, you know, you're just giving away free game, which free game's amazing. Continue to give value, value, value. No one cares what you do until they know how much you care. So I was giving so much value. Then it got to the point that I was able to build a business, but I'm a digger. I'm a digger. But remember, I talked to you about circles. So remember, since I was able to partner well, Allstate, I mean, it's Allstate. I can call customer service. They'll answer any question you have, you know. There was attorneys that was working on my credit. So I just started asking a whole bunch of questions. So asking those questions was really me teaching myself. But truly, I'm not going to lie to you. It was for me. I needed those answers. I didn't know what what I was supposed to do. And so to give you an example, if you ask a kid right now, any question, any person in any student right now, a question, they're gonna dig to figure it out, say, I don't know, or ask a neighbor, you know, telephone a friend. So that's kind of what happened is I started telephoning friends, I start digging for myself because I needed answers. And so was there things online, training provided? Yeah, but ultimately I was just a customer. I was just a
Wow.
customer. I was just a customer. Never, I'm telling you, it's crazy because I can't really explain like how everything felt and where I was in my life. Because money, telling you, I only knew how to press checkout and swipe.
Yeah, and along those lines, you know, we see a lot of entrepreneurs that have great concepts, great
Oh yeah.
branding, great customer service, but they make mistakes on the financial end. So what are
Uh-huh.
some mistakes that you see entrepreneurs make financially because they aren't educated and don't use the services of someone like you?
So first thing is understanding how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. So most people know like how much money um it's normally one or the other. So I could speak of like two people, right? Sometimes you know how much money you're making in your business, but you don't know how much money you're throwing out, you know, to expend it, to go out to eat, to do something fun to celebrate, right? Or vice versa. You may know how much money you're spending, like, okay, this costs this much, this costs this much, this costs this much, but you don't really understand how much money is coming in to balance that out. So most businesses don't have a relationship with both. You know, you
Yeah.
got to be able to balance and then also understand like rainy days are going to happen. It's foreseeable. I mean, it's unforeseeable, but it's going to happen. Things are going to happen that's out of your control. So that's why we go back to credit. You know, I say all the time, and maybe this is bad for me to say, but credit's annoying. It's so annoying, but it's not annoying once you learn it. And it's not annoying once you learn how much money you're losing and how much you could gain from it. Right. So another thing for those on the credit side, tell you two things. Let's say you have a maxed out card, right? A lot of times people pay before it's reported. So it's reporting you didn't spend that card at all. You got no points. Or you'll pay after it's reported and then it's reporting that you had this high balance, you know, instead of just paying it down. So it shows a low utilization rate. So just the lack of education. Now I'm gonna keep saying it, the lack of education, and there's education out there, guys. We just gotta read. We have to read. We're in the generation that we don't read nothing. And I'm not perfect, but we do not read. And there's things there. There's things there. So when it comes to business as a whole, you got to have that cushion. You know, people got generators in their homes just in case you have a snowstorm, right? We got to have that cushion and we have to have a relationship with the money coming in versus money coming out. And last but not least, you have to learn how to be able to, outside of you just being consistent and dedicated, stepping yourself out, that your business runs so you can gain that freedom. There's a lot of businesses that you cannot talk to the CEO. You can't. So set an end goal. So once you reach it, you can keep on, and keep on going past that. Most people fail because they're not consistent. Most businesses stop because of that.
Yeah, and along those same lines, you know, you talk about not knowing what's coming in. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
young business owners that I see, the first thing I tell them immediately when I see, you know, they have these cool advertisements, cool branding, social media, and it could be even something really good they're selling. But I immediately say you're not charging enough because they're in
Mm-hmm.
that 17-year-old mindset and not doing market research of seeing people that would actually spend the money. Because I always say, if people will buy it, you need to sell it. And if people will pay it, you need to charge it. So what type of mistakes are you seeing as far as pricing? Because that could be a huge issue as why money's not coming in.
Well, really, if that's an issue, you're not finding enough value in what you do, right? You have to understand what you have. You are a solution because I'm gonna throw some statistics out there. So there is 84 million Americans in the U.S., right? And 79 million have less than a 599 credit score. So I'm a solution to many, right? You may not need me now, or you may not understand you need me now, but you're gonna need me in the future or someone else. So you got to understand your big need. I'm not saying charge $1 million just to have something fixed, but you are an asset. And it's so crazy because we're so quick to give out free information. Oh, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna lend a hand, but we're too scared to ask for the money. So in my field, so what we charge is less than $300, right? Just for someone to get started. And we have different packages from beyond that, right? Well, under that. You could go find somebody that's not giving you the education. You could find someone that's not helping you budget, give you a will, trust, power of attorney. And they're charging, I found people, like I talked to this gentleman, just asked him a question. He charges $2,500 to get something deleted off your credit. $2,500. I'm not charging that. But granted, I don't mind, being that help. So if someone tells me no, they are just not your customer. You got to understand, they are not your customer. The people you have on social media, honestly, I don't care if you have 4,000 friends. Those 4,000 people are not your customers if no one's biting. It's time to network. It's time to follow more people and find people that have your customers, So that's the biggest thing that I see is a lot of people are scared to charge more and ask for more because they're thinking if they were on the opposite end, would they spend that much?
Yeah, and the funny story about that is we have another guest. He's local here, and he's a photographer. He said he was trying to undersell everybody. He was working himself to death. He was doing 5 and 6 weddings on a Saturday, running ragged. And so he was like, I need to start charging more. And his friends are like, oh, you're going to price yourself out of the market. And he said, I did, right into another one. So you have to look at, who's gonna buy. So if you know that you can offer more, I know the term. If you can offer more, that gives you the ability to charge more, because of the perceived value. If there's perceived value and people will pay for convenience. We had a guest last week in New York that charges a lot, but she offers more. If you can offer more than other people, you can charge more than other people.
And listen to this. So if you go into 7-Eleven, is there a 7-Eleven out there?
We don't have them here. It's crazy. We have everything else in Mississippi.
Tell me a grocery store y'all have. Tell me a grocery store y'all have.
Kroger.
So if you go into Kroger, you guys know bags of chips is expensive now. I'm just saying the normal size bag of chips, I think it's like $2 and something, right? If you go into Kroger and they're marketing their bags of chips, it's 50 cents today. Not saying you wouldn't want to buy, but what's the first thing you're gonna think? Are these chips about to expire? Are they stale? Is something wrong with them? So a lot of people they throw their prices down to help more, but you're actually raising red flags. People are just thinking that they must not be that good, versus something that's gonna charge and when I say arm and a leg, whatever you think an arm and a leg is, if it's thousands of dollars, whatever, you're like, dang, like I can't do that right now, but this person must be good. It's crazy, right? So it's our brain. So you're scared to ask for more money, but you're also devaluing yourself in the most simplest way, telling someone or, throwing your prices down just for them to budge.
Hold on one second.
Mm-hmm.
He was making a comment about what you were saying, and he's correct, but I told him just ask questions. Now before I get to the students' questions, we'll have some kids that see this that really aren't interested in being entrepreneurs, and that's fine. You can be a great employee thinking like an entrepreneur. And in fact, people would love to hire people like entrepreneurs. So even if somebody doesn't want to go into business for themselves, what are some things that, because, and I get it. When you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, you're not thinking about how to manage your money. And you're like, this is never going to apply to me. But, what kind of mistakes are you seeing people make when they haven't paid attention to this? And then they get in their late 20s and 30s and, oh my God, now I got to make some big financial decisions. And we're not asking people to be experts, but if you're not familiar with the way things work, you can find people cheating you out and scamming you, and you just not being prepared for emergencies and then working until you're 75 years old.
So for those that have jobs, really to prepare is understanding you have that safety. The number one reason why people stay at jobs is for safety. The number one reason why people get out of entrepreneur is because of lack of safety. Safety does not come first. And so that's why a lot of people will have a 9-to-5 or whatever till they're able to build their dream up, right? So those that don't want to go into entrepreneurship and just want to build from their job is be able to leverage that safety, be able to put money up. So just in case anything happens, because that business that you're working at is not your business. Remember, someone at the top is an entrepreneur as well. That person can one day be like, I'm tired of this, I'm done. That person can sell it to someone, and you guys know when things get rebought, it's remanagement. They may not need your position anymore, or you may not like it there, you know? So really just understanding that you have more control when you're an entrepreneur. And I'm not saying this to lean someone that way. Just prepare yourself. Everything is causes for preparations. We have insurance on our phones just in case it breaks, right? You have insurance on your car because they tell you have to, but we don't have insurance on our money. We don't. We're not sitting here thinking about ourselves. Unless you have life insurance on your body, but you're not really. It's sad to say we're taking care of everything external versus this right here. This is what you need to pay attention to. So for those that have jobs, once again, I had a job, paid me $60K a year. I was comfortable. I knew how to check out, swipe. I didn't have any kids. I could do whatever I want. But I also didn't plan. When I quit my job, I had nothing. I took a big leap of faith. I had nothing. Was the road hard? Yes, it was. It was very bumpy, very bumpy. But I can only imagine where I would. It's hard for me to say where I would be today, because this is something that was taught to me. Stop asking yourself why. Why is this happening? Why am I in this position? And start saying like this is happening for me. So I feel like if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be where I was today. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be as strong as I am today. But just start planning, putting money aside. I don't care like how much it is. The goal is to have at least 6 months of rent, utilities, bills, everything put up. And then if you have a business, you should do the same thing with your business. So if anything happens, you got a big cushion for 6 months.
Yeah, and then and I'm sure you see this a lot too, because a lot of we have a lot of kids that just want to go straight to the workforce, and that's fine. We got some great companies that will hire high school seniors and train them within the ranks, but they're more worried about what their paycheck is every week or every 2 weeks or every month, and not putting anything aside in retirement when it's being offered right now. And I'm not even a financial expert, and I know if you're not putting in at least what a company matches, you are absolutely outside of your mind.
You're allowing someone else to control your paycheck. So that's the biggest thing. I say this in, granted, I have a different opinion because I got out that, having a 9 to 5. However, if it wasn't for me having a job, just a job where I was an employee, I wouldn't have all the skills. I would have not had the experience to know, like, go to your jobs, not just to work and make a check. Go there and learn what they're doing. Learn what they're doing. A lot of times they have a simple solution. Here's something else. I don't know what restaurants are there, but Cane's. You guys have Cane's there?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I love Cane's. What does Cane's have? Chicken, fries, and their sandwich is chicken. Is still the chicken strip. That's all. Someone decided one day I'm going to sell chicken strips and fries.
I've actually met that founder, Todd Graves.
Really? And then you go up. I love the slogans, guys. If they don't give me the slogans, I'm sad and I'm gonna cry. But I drive up to the drive-through and it goes chicken, which box combo you picking? So I mean, it's just learn what people are doing, because that is what's going to get you far. And I'm not even just saying entrepreneurship in life. Like, understand systems. It's systems. But yeah, just. We all have it. You all have the potential to do everything you want. One thing I did want to say, kids are fearless. And I know everybody, most people in the room are young adults, but adults are very fearful. They're scared of everything. And I'm gonna tell you why. Is there anyone in the classroom that at least has a job right now? When I say job, like a job where they have to actually pay bills in a home or something, or is it just like a job for fun?
We have one that does.
Okay, so once money starts rolling in your pocket, that's when the fear starts coming. Because, for instance, the one that does, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But the one that does, when they get a paycheck now, instead of asking the parent for something, they're just gonna be like, well, you made money. You got paid this Friday, right? So you start, every time money's rolling in, we start feeling like, what do they say? They say money rules the world, and they'll also say money is the solution. So we look at it like money is always the solution. Once money starts touching our hands, money is the solution. If I want to get out there and do something, I want to start a taco stand or a lemonade stand, money. I think money. Kids, young adults don't have money just rolling through like that unless they're asking someone. So their solutions, we think money, they have all the solutions in the world. And it may be asking mama, daddy, grandma, brother, sister to cash at me all $10. Or it could be raising, it does not matter. They are able to come up with all the solutions. So this is a time that you figure out something you like, or just something, even if you don't like it or know what to do, just learn it and just go out there and do it fearless, because you all are so fearless. Because the next few years, I'm not saying you're not going to be fearless, but you're going to start looking at it heavy, like money is the solution. And it's not always the solution. It's not the only
Absolutely.
solution.
Well, I do want to get to some questions from the kids. I love this first one.
Yeah.
This is Braylon Carter. He's in ninth grade, and
Okay.
he asked, "How do you maintain a healthy mental state while having so much on your plate?"
Number one, breathing. You saw that. But I would say the first thing is I actually am a firm believer in having therapy. So I've had therapy and really understanding that, some things that we get stressed out over or bothers us is due to childhood trauma. It could be due to your environment at home. Because if I want to be completely honest with my business, the outside noise is loud. My family, I wanted the time freedom to be with them so much that when I work, it's like they feel like I'm supposed to give them all the time in the world. Like, don't get me wrong, I did this to give them time, but I can't give you every 24 hours. So when I do now, it's kind of like they envy work. But I had to learn that this is not personal, this is business. This is not personal, this is business. This is not personal, this is business. And one thing about going back to entrepreneurship, those things are going to come. You're going to get stressed out. You're going to want to oversleep. You want to be lazy, not being dedicated, and not do anymore. But one thing about it, all that hard work you put in, the person that's going to benefit from it is you. So that's life. We all want to be happy, but like life comes with all emotions, and all emotions are beautiful. So really, I just take care of my body. I drink lots of water. I love water. So just thinking, yeah, you may have a headache and think it's because you had a long day, and it may be because you just didn't drink a bottle of water. So I just say, for me, just really taking care of myself, listening to myself, and writing down just obstacles you surpassed, and also things that made you happy. Life isn't perfect, but you got to keep on going. You got to keep on going.
I agree. This is a good one. This is Christian Wolf. He's a senior, and he asked, "What strategies did you use to get your name and brand out?"
Oh, social media, guys. If it's not TikTokable, Facebookable, Instagrammable, you don't have a business. So I have a service. I'm not selling this pen right here, right? So, I'm able to show testimonies. I'm able to educate, post quotes, whatever. And sometimes, do images if I was able to get content, or maybe just like this, go on TikTok and just talk to the people. But really getting your name out there is number one. Give value. Not everything's a sale. You're going to look like a banner, and no one's going to look at you anymore because they're like, Deprecia's trying to ask for X amount of money from me today. She got on my DMs to tell me happy birthday. I may have told you happy birthday to maybe, later on talk about it. But but I genuinely care. Like, happy birthday. I've had people tell me, like, no one told me happy birthday today. That made my heart, warm, and I've been able to talk to them. So really just step outside, talk to people, let everybody know what you're doing. If you live in apartments, your entire neighborhood should know what you're doing. So just they say closed mouths don't get fed. You have to talk, but could be consistent. If someone keeps seeing you, how ads are. It's always like pop, pop, pop. People keep seeing you on social media. They're watching. They may not say anything. They're watching. So just talk to everybody and keep on posting.
Absolutely. I just got one more. This is Donovan Harris. He's a junior and our archery champion here at Velma Jackson. And he asked, "What's your biggest inspiration to become an entrepreneur?"
Still go back to my mom. Like, ultimately, it's not even that entrepreneurship is what I wanted. It's what came with it. However, I didn't really, in my mind, I wasn't thinking about the obstacles that were going to come with it too. But I'm a hard worker. I'm a hard worker. I'm an amazing employee. You know, I will build up a business and do everything you need. I follow directions. And I was tired of someone telling me how I had to live my life. The fact of like I couldn't vacation, the fact that my mom, when she did have her stroke and couldn't walk, move, talk, I wasn't able to see her. That's my mother. And I understand even when you have a business, there's sacrifice. I'm not saying you're going to be there every given wake moment, but it was the fact of I I wanted to have control of my life. So that's what really, really pushed it, because I wanted control over my life. Is it hard? Yes, that's just a part of it. You got to fail forward in everything you do. So that's what it was. It was everything that comes with it, the greatness that really pushed me. And then also, I wanted control over my life.
Yeah, I mean, like I hear people say all the time, "I want to be my own boss," and that's great, but
Hmm.
they don't realize all the sacrifice that comes with it. So while that
Right.
is a pro, it is a huge responsibility, and
Hmm.
I think that's important for anybody even wanting to be a part-time entrepreneur. Yeah, you are in charge of everything, but you have to be the one that actually does it. You can't wait on somebody to do it for you. But that is a great point. Now we're almost out of time, and we thank you as always for taking some time for us. I learn something every time you talk. But before we go, I think you froze. Hold on one second. All right, so now we're almost out of time, and as always, we thank you so much for joining us. It's just what all you're doing out
Awesome.
there in Oklahoma is incredible, and I learn something from you every time you're with us. But before we go, what can these young people learn now, not only about their own personal finances, but about taking that risk to become an entrepreneur and really taking the world by storm? Because I've got a room full here of young, smart Black kids, and you were one of these kids at one point as well. So what can they do now to follow in your footsteps?
So the first thing I'll say is when it comes to finances is actually having a relationship with your money. Ultimately today, if you had $1 in your pocket and you wasn't able to work for the next 100 years, I'm being dramatic here, how would you make that dollar multiply where you will be okay? So take control over what you have control over now. Have a relationship with it, because don't be like me that was just amazing at checkout and swiping. I still know how to do it pretty well, but I actually put the card aside now and not click. But ultimately just have a relationship, fall in love with budgeting. The reason why people hate to budget is because they feel like they're taking themselves out of it. They feel like they can't get their hair done. They feel like they can't buy something they like. But once you put yourself in your budget, you will learn you're either not making enough money or you're overspending. So we have to understand those two things to actually take action, right? But I want to tell you guys, every single person in that room, you're capable to do anything you want to do. And I mean that. And I'm not saying that if your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your peers, the person next to you, sitting next to you right now, feel like your vision is like is not possible. I want your vision to be so big that your eyes can't see it. I want you to continue to go forward and be dedicated and consistent, because that's what's going to put you out there. And ultimately, you may not make any money during that time, but it's coming. So the more dedicated and consistent you are, things are going to come your way. But think about the world right now. There's celebrities that became famous at 15, 16. I know someone in the room is going to know this girl's name. I forgot her name. The bow girl that has all the bow ties. There's someone that's selling lemonade in Whole Foods now, and these are people that are way younger than you, making so much, 6 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures. So you are right now at the age that you are fearless and can do anything you want to do. So those that want to do hair, those that want to sell something, you can do that now. I promise you. You may not be able to be a business on your own, and you have to connect with people to help you, right? But you can do it now. So there's no time clock of when things have to start. There's not a clock on when you're supposed to start work outside of people making requirements. But at the end of the day, jobs, you can't get hired on to 15, 16, but you could start a business at day one when you get born. So there's nothing that can stop you guys. So just press on and just block out all the noise around you. Those that say you can't, those that say it's not possible, block out that noise and have tunnel vision, because you're there. That light's there. You just got to keep moving, keep those wheels turning, and understand that you're going to have to fail forward. Things are going to happen. It's going to happen. But just know, connect with people, follow each other. I appreciate you, Greg, so much for getting different entrepreneurs on the phone. He's doing this to help you guys. So soak in everything, and just run. You guys are so much ahead than most people in your grade right now, because not every school has Greg. I didn't have you, Greg. So I thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. I didn't hear that today. So again, Deprecia Sutter, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really good stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for having me.
All right. Talk to you soon, buddy.
Bye, guys.